Hello everyone, my name is Kevin. I'm part of the implementations team of Sellercloud, the team that initially helps you integrate your business and make it seamless without causing any issues to your supply chain. Now, today we'll be talking about Skustack and its updates. It's been a while since the last user conference, so we will have a lot of ground to cover, ground that, as my colleagues previously mentioned, we were able to cover based on your feedback, suggestions, input. So thank you for your input. We'll be relying on it a lot more, and let's get started. First, we will be reviewing some enhancements and specifically picking in bulk. The first change we would like to discuss is the ability to receive, pick, and utilize by case quantity. The only restriction you would need to have in mind for this is when creating these orders, you would need to have case quantity mode enabled. After that, you are free to do as you like. And on the video, you can see there is a small button that looks like a unit in front of a case that you can use after the order is set up as a case mode. You can actually switch to pick by unit if you do decide that. But if you pick by unit, you can go back to case mode only if the remaining quantity is divisible by the original case quantity. The next feature would be picking of entire bins, which has been requested by so many of you. This feature can be found and utilized under order-based picking, either by searching for a specific order or by searching all, opening a pick list, opening the order, and then you will see a button that looks like a pallet. Now, for you to utilize the bin in question, which can be either scanned or typed in, depending on your device settings, you would need to have quantity that matches the order or above that. Ideally, the bin would be prepared specifically for the order that you need. Moving on to pallets, we have added a few options. The first one would be to building the pallet itself inside of Skustack and printing the label from it. Pallets can be found under the product module at the bottom, where it says Manage Pallets. Once you decide to create a pallet, you would need to click the plus, and then you would have two options, either selecting all bin contents and building a pallet around it, or scanning each item and building a pallet that way. The other thing that we need to mention here is that there's a reference ID which you can search later the pallet from, which you can either enter manually or the system can generate it starting with P for pallet, the date, today's date, and there's a number at the end depending on how much pallets you've built. So we're starting with 1. We have also added the option of creating, importing in bulk pallets through the Skustack admin page under the same module under products. Skustack admin also provides you with the option to view and edit pallets quantity as well as print labels through the browser. The difference between printing the labels through the browser or through the Skustack handheld device is that when you print through the browser, either by SKU or ASIN, each product in that pallet gets a separate barcode which you can scan individually or scan the entire pallet. Here you can see how that looks. That's the pallet in the center, and on the left is by SKU, and on the right is by ASIN. Lastly, for pallets, we have added the ability to receive, pick, and transfer products by scanning the pallet label. So everything in the pallet can be scanned and transferred with an additional option of receiving the entire pallet into a single bin effortlessly, and as you can see in the video. Moving on to camera barcode scanning. This feature is aimed at easing the process for users who do not possess a specific scanner like the Zebras. It's a way for people to use their phones if they need to accomplish a simple task. In this example, the first one, you can use your regular Android camera to scan and log into Skustack. The second option that we have here as an example is that you can scan a product directly with your camera and pull up the product info, the product location, and all information that you need for that specific SKU. We have expanded also our connectivity to different types of printers. We have had the ability to connect to Bluetooth printers for a while. Now we have the ability from the Skustack handheld device to connect to a Wi-Fi printer as long as it's a Zebra type mobile printer. Now, to something that is constantly expanding, and that is specifically the work orders. Work orders can be treated as additional tasks that you can provide for your employees, get ready products for a specific shipment, prepare an FBA shipment, assemble a kit, and the newest additions to Skustack, which is the grading and the repair work orders. Work orders are mainly created on the Skustack admin level under new work order tab, which is just below the transfer tab. They also have their own separate module in Skustack, which you can find at the far right as the last module. You can find that way work orders that have been already created through the Skustack admin. And the first option of a work order, the kit assembly, you now have the option to assemble either by kit parent or by kit component. The difference here would be when assembling with the kit component, it will just let you know how much of the component you need to assemble for all of the parents. If they are overlapping, you will see, like here in the screenshot, a total quantity of 18, which would be for both of these kit parents. If you do decide to assemble by kit parent, you will see the image on the left, which is each kit parent individually, and you would need to either scan or click into it to be able to see how much this kit parent requires in terms of components. If the kit assembly is associated with an FBA shipment, when they assemble the kit, the reserves on the kit components will be released and added to the parent. Additionally, speaking of FBA work orders, you can now add shadows through the Skustack admin, which will allow you to prepare SKUs for FBA shipments and print the proper FN SKU label through Skustack that's associated with the shadow specifically and not the parent, which may be different in some cases. And we come to the work order that can be created through Skustack on the fly if you require something to be done very fast and you need to do it immediately. You can select a few options here, either inventory pull it into a specific bin and get it ready for shipment, or FBA or WFS work orders. Now to the long-awaited feature, which is grading. It's been requested by so many of you, and now after months of work, we are finally ready to deliver. It works like this. You can create a grading work order based on a purchase order, an RMA, which is a return, a transfer from another warehouse, or a transfer that is a FBA removal, so an FBA return in this case. This will associate the work order with the initial task. After that, you can pick, grade, and transfer simultaneously in Skustack, or just pick the items into an interim bin to grade them into an interim bin which is unsellable, so your inventory doesn't get caught up in the work order. And then you can import the info for each unit's disposition, which dispositions are created on Sellercloud and can be mapped to the different channels depending on their API connections. After the information is imported with the unit info, with each unit's disposition, you can transfer to another SKU in bulk or create a SKU specifically for that graded item. Keep in mind that this SKU that's been created will not inherit anything from the old SKU, so you would just need to add all the information that you have for it afterwards. Once everything is said and done, you can view and manage the unit info in Skustack admin like so. You can see all of the dispositions. You can add units to a repair work order if needed, and you can create a few things from here. You can create a putaway list if everything is completed the way you like and you are ready to put the items in the correct bins, or you can create a credit memo which can be sent to your vendor if the items are coming from them and they are damaged. Additionally, from this, we can take it a step further and create a repair work order. The repair work order, as you can see here, has a few additional options. You can add repair instructions and you can add costs to those repair instructions. These costs will be automatically transferred to the SKU that you have either created or you're transferring to, which will work on the total average cost of the item. Once you're done with the repair work order, you would either need to create another putaway list or just move it into a bin that you want. The repair work order is closed once the item is picked by the employee in the warehouse. Moving on to restock lists. These are meant to help you save time by either arranging the items in your warehouse in a convenient way or restocking your bins, just saving on downtime. You can optimize your work area and you can create these restock lists in one of two ways. One is by generating a list based on the quantity in your primary bins in the predictive restocking reports, which would be based on your filters. As you can see here, there are a few filters added. And the predictive restocking bin restocking report works currently only for primary bins. Here you can see how we can add these to a restock list. And the other way is to go to manage restock lists and download a template, which you can tell it how much you want to restock from which bin to which bin, and import it into Sellercloud as we usually do with the templates. The prerequisite here is that once you create a restock list, the only thing that you can control here is the quantity that you can restock. You cannot change where you restock it from and where you will restock it to. Once you are ready with the restock list, you can find them under the bins module, select an interim bin to pick into. Once you pick the items from the original bin, you can switch to putaway mode and put them in the bins that they are supposed to be in. Now, before we move on to the SKU blocks integration, let's go over the cross-dock option we have added a while ago. In this, you can scan or open a PO to receive it and then link it to a specific pick list. This would require device setting, and after you enable it, you will see a button with a yellow X at the top. We click it and we link it to a pick list. Once attached, we will be checking the pick list for any orders that have these items that we automatically pick and attach together and send the code that we are ready and print out a confirmation label. Now, this is important. The cross-docking and this option that we have had for a while, which is pick to light, combine into the receive to light, which is a step further, and you can directly use the cross-docking option, connect it to a SKU blocks wall, and once you have connected a pick list, everything is picked, you can directly take your items for the orders to your SKU blocks wall, and it will light up so you can put it in the proper place and get the order going to your clients. And lastly, we have our pickup containers, or better known as ship verify pickup containers, which we utilize the ship by verify method of scanning tracking numbers to keep your orders organized. You can create containers either through Skustack admin, which we are seeing right now, or through the Skustack handheld device. Creating these orders are based on carriers. So once you create an order, it will ask you which carrier you want to select. That means that all orders going into that container need to be the same carrier, which will help you avoid any issues with sending different types of carriers in the same container. If they mismatch on the service level, you'll get an error as an extra check to avoid those issues that we just mentioned. When creating these containers, QR codes can be printed either from the Skustack admin or from the Skustack handheld device from the printer icon in the app. Once everything is loaded into your container, you have two options to finalize everything. If it's not ready to be picked up, or the carrier, let's say, is running late, you have the option to close the container so nobody else can add orders to it if you decide it's full. Once you close the container, nobody can open it, so it's a done deal. Once the container is closed, the carrier comes to pick it up from you. Use the option mark as picked up, and you have two fields where you can add additional information on what you discussed with the carrier and with the driver, and add whatever you want there so you can keep track of documentation moving forward. Once it's marked as picked up, we can treat it as the order being shipped in Sellercloud. Unfortunately, it cannot be unshipped. Thank you for your time today, and hope this helps your business grow. If Skustack is something new to you, or you want to add it to your Sellercloud wishlist, you can always contact your representative or account manager, and we can help you one-on-one to integrate this and learn its details. Thanks again.